We are making our own story as we go, as we go, as we go. We are hoping that we'll go so happy ever after, happy ever after.
Hi, welcome to your Dream Day podcast. Today, we're going to talk about wedding smells, and we're not talking about the food or the cake or the flowers. We're talking about the stinky smells that nobody wants to talk about. We're talking about restrooms. And today, I have special guest Blake Holland from Luxury Lavatories, and we are going to talk about the benefits of having a restroom trailer for your outdoor wedding reception. So if you're planning to have the wedding reception in your backyard, this is the podcast for you. So Blake, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Hey, Kathy, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Luxury Lavatories. What are Luxury Lavatories?
Well, just simply like the name implies, we are a company that rents out restroom trailers, and they're not your typical porta-potties or concert restroom trailers. These are high-end, very nice, clean restroom trailers that we rent out for weddings, outdoor festivals, birthday parties, graduation parties, you name it.
Nice. So how do restroom trailers work?
So with the restroom trailer, the main question I get from clients is how do I get water or how do I power it? So there's two different options when you're setting one of these up for an event. The first option, which is kind of your ideal option, is if you have a garden hose hookup and an electrical outlet within 100 feet, we can just plug an extension cord right into the outlet, run a hose, and the trailer can run off of your power and water from your home. So the second way is more of a self-contained option. So like, let's say you're having an event out in the middle of a field somewhere where there's just no power, no electric. We do have an onboard 200-gallon fresh water tank that we can use for the flushing of the toilets, the sinks, and everything like that. And then power-wise, we just run it on a generator. And the generator we have is super quiet. It's very efficient, so it's not putting off a lot of exhaust or noise or anything like that. So two options in terms of how the trailer actually operates.
And that's definitely a lot different from when people think of a porta potty. They think of the bright highlighter color yellow or green or blue that they see at concerts. That is not what we're talking about here today.
No, we are not. No, this unit's it's a 5-stall. It's very nice. You know, the interior and exterior. It's all white. It's got laminate floors, nice white vanities. It's 5 units. So the women's side has 3 toilets and a double sink with a nice large mirror. So you could even, use it for, if people need to kind of get ready, don't want to go in the house. That's kind of nice too. And then the men's side has a single sink and it's got a urinal and then it's got 1 toilet in there as well. And it's rated for events with up to 300 people. So it can handle a substantially large event.
Well, and you bring up an excellent point. The reason why you want a restroom trailer, if you're doing your wedding on a private property underneath a tent in a backyard, is the house that potentially could be on that property was not designed to have the flushes of 200 people. It was not designed to have the flushes of 100 people. It was not designed to have flushes for 50 people. Especially with a septic system in particular, septic systems are designed to accommodate the number of bedrooms in that home. So they're designed to accommodate maybe 5 to 12 people at any given time. They're not designed for large parties. And what can happen is, fortunately, I've not had it happen at a wedding. I pray that I never have it happen at a wedding. But if the septic system backs up from the house, and this can be the direct result of not having a restroom trailer at your outdoor event, it backs up into the yard and the stink from from the septic system comes up out of the ground, and it just completely it's the only thing you're going to smell at the wedding. You're not going to smell food. You're not going to smell anything. It's the worst smell in the world. And it's just because house toilets were not designed to deal with that kind of volume. It's a little bit different if you have people over for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, because you might have maybe 20 people, and a home's plumbing system can still accommodate that, but it's not going to accommodate, 50 to 100 people flushing the toilet. Because if you think about it, that could be an average of, a flush every 10 minutes. And it just wasn't designed to deal with that.
Yeah, you're
Plus,
exactly right.
Plus, if you run on city water, again, what happens if the toilets start backing up? They may not back up into the yard, but they're going to back up and not function. And that's going to create a very, very stinky situation inside the house as well. And potentially your caterer could be inside the house preparing food and trying to get your guests fed. And that could be very awkward and very stinky. And it's not a situation you want to deal with. It really isn't.
No, I mean, besides, limiting traffic in terms of, people coming in and out of your house, while the caterer's in there in the kitchen, you're potentially saving on a huge plumbing or septic backup bill, just by just going ahead and renting the restroom trailer.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing too is that restroom trailers, yours are air conditioned and they have heaters in them, correct?
Yep, sure do.
Yep. So whenever you have an outdoor wedding, especially in the summertime, it gets hot. And this is actually where having a restroom trailer can potentially be a cost saver for you. Because if it's like in the 90s and your guests are warm, they're going to want a cool place to go. And you can either rent an air conditioning unit, which is probably going to run you anywhere between $6,000 to $8,000 for the day, or
Yep.
you could have the restroom trailer, which has an air conditioning unit in there, and guests can go in there, cool off for 10 minutes, and then come back out. So it actually proves to be a cooling spot for you. And especially if you have a really hot day and you just don't have air conditioning units in the budget, it can also prevent heat stroke, because when you get up into the 95 to, high 90s to, low 100s for outdoor temperatures, it's a little bit different out here because we don't have dry heat like they have in Arizona, where it doesn't
Yep.
necessarily hit you as quickly. When it's humid and it's hot, it's going to hit you, and you don't want to be dealing with any guests having, heat stroke, or, when it's at the end of October, it's hit or miss. It could be very, very warm. It could be very, very cold. I mean, I've had weddings at the end of October where, at nighttime, it's like 40, 50 degrees. And
Yeah. Yep.
especially your older guests, they're going to want somewhere where they can warm up a little bit. And when you have a restroom trailer that has that, that's a huge advantage for your guests as well. Plus, it smells nice.
Exactly. I'm sure
Because I was going to say, you have scents that come out of your restroom trailer.
Yep. Yeah, we've got some nice incense that we, keep fresh in there, and even, all the cleaning supplies that we use, everything smells real good. So it's honestly probably one of the best smelling restrooms I've ever been in.
Well, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
It's a definite departure from the ugly, stinky porta-potty that most people think of when they think of, portable restrooms.
Yeah.
So how does it work as far as delivery goes? When does that arrive?
So normally, most events are going to be on a Saturday. So typically, what we would do is for a Saturday event, we would drop off sometime on Friday, just kind of coordinating with the client when they want it dropped off, and then we would typically pick up sometime on Sunday. But there's always exceptions to the rule. If you rented it for Saturday and you still had some guests that were going to be there Sunday that wanted to use it, we could come get it on Monday. Same thing, the other way, if you wanted it dropped off on Thursday, If you were going to have some use for it Friday and Saturday, we would do it that way too. So you're pretty much getting it for the weekend.
Oh, that's nice. So if people have the rehearsal the day before, they'll have the
Yep.
restrooms. If they have a morning after brunch the day after the wedding, they'll have the restrooms. So they can take advantage of that tent, because tent companies are the same way. They rent them for the weekend. So they'll come in like Wednesday or Thursday, sometimes Friday, but usually Wednesday or Thursday. They build the tent and then they pick it up
Yep.
on Monday. So it's along the same lines as the rental company.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Same thing.
Well, I'm so glad we were able to turn the stinky smells into nice smells by the end of the podcast.
That's our goal.
That's our goal, is to have your wedding smelling beautiful and smelling as beautiful as it looks. How can people find Luxury Lavatories, Blake?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is www.luxury-lavatories.com. You can reach me directly. My cell phone is 513-600-8373. You can call or text that number. And then our email is luxurylavatories1@gmail.com. And then we're also on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Blake, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for tuning in to your Dream Day podcast. Be sure to subscribe so that when we have our next episode post, you'll be notified right away. This is Kathy Peach Lucas with your Dream Day podcast. Happy planning.